About Nike's playing hard in the paint, but how about this one, preaching hard in the paint? It's a new grassroots campaign that's not about the style, but it's about raising the standard. Please welcome Elder Mark Moore. He is with us today at New Birth Community Church in Mobile, and later tonight,
yes, ma'am,
you will be talking to the folks here in this community about this new grassroots effort that is really getting the attention of a lot of people. Pray hard in the paint.
Yes, we're excited, first of all, to be here in Mobile. And as you said, we're expecting an awesome time tonight here at 7:30 at New Birth here in Mobile. We're excited to be here. And really, as you said, we're really trying to elevate a standard with the entire Preach Hard Alliance. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're about. We're honored to connect with Pastor McMillan here. And we're going to have a good time, a really good time.
A lot of people are familiar with the What Would Jesus Do, WWJD campaign that kind of caught on, but your campaign with Preach Hard in the Paint attracted my attention because of the T-shirts and the different things. You're actually holding one of those right now.
I am. This is really very, and this is where it started. It started off on Twitter, actually. Of all places, the campaign started with the idea, and I put it, I believe, on my bio. I said, I preach hard in the paint. I've heard the expression from sports analogies and different things, and it simply meant to go all out, to be passionate about what you're doing. And I thought about it, and I said, well, I don't play basketball that well. I can't dunk really, but I do preach, and I preach hard. I'm passionate about it. And I began to say it, and I was surprised and amazed at the feedback and the response that we got from people that said, I really like that. That sounds good. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'm a young person. I didn't grow up in church, but when you said that, I know exactly what you mean. And so it grew from there into really just a ministry focus that became centered around really three principles, and you named one of them, which is replacing style with standard. I'm convinced that in our generation, our day and time, so much of ministry has become about style. It's become about who looks the best, who has the best runs when they preach, who has the biggest car, the biggest house. And in moving that direction, we have lost the fact that at the end of the day, there should be a standard that comes with ministry. There should be people doing this that are sold out, not doing it simply because it's popular, not doing it simply because someone told them that they're good at it, but are doing it really because God called them to do it. And they can't not do it, if that makes sense. So really about promoting standard in ministry, in addition to bringing passion back to the pulpit. That's really the summary of the vision. That's what we're about. I feel that if passion will manifest in the pulpit, we'll see power manifest in the pews. And so that's really what we're trying to do, Very.
Well, as we go in deeper into that, it's interesting that you talked about this starting on Twitter. Do you find that that is exactly where the ministry has to go? You have to meet the people where they are, Twitter, Facebook. You're not afraid of social media.
Not at all.
You've embraced it.
I feel that it is a crucial tool. It really, if you think about it, in my opinion, the internet is the last ministry frontier. Jesus commanded us, he said, go out into the hedges and the highways and compel them. And a lot of times we limit hedges and highways to the streets around our church, to the community, to the jail down the street. But really the hedges and the highways now with the rise of technology is Facebook. The hedges and the highways are Twitter. Wherever the harvest is, that's where we have to go in order to reach them. And we have to be able, I believe, to speak people's language, meet them at the point of their need, where they are, where they can relate to what we're doing. So we've seen tremendous success on social networks, even with the product side. We've received calls and emails from Africa, from London, from Canada, all parts of the country, people that have reached us that would not have normally reached us if it had not been for the use of technology and social networks. Because what it does, it really is simply, it's a social network, and it allows you to connect with people that you would not normally have the chance to reach.
And here's the thing, we are a world without borders.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about that being the case, this is a campaign that's also transcending racial lines.
Absolutely, and that's where the style and standard comes in. Because so much, especially in our tradition, when we think of church, we think of certain songs, we think of certain musical instruments, we think of certain routines and litanies that we go through in our worship. But really, I believe that God does not have a black church, God does not have a white church, God does not have an Asian church, God has a church. And with that, I believe that with this Preach Hard move, what we're really trying to do is unify everybody and say, I don't care how you sing, I don't care how you preach, I don't care what your style is. If you want to preach in a t-shirt and jeans, if you want to preach in a three-piece suit and a robe and a collar, that's wonderful. But as long as what you're doing is passionate and seriously committed to glorifying God, that's what we represent.
Well, I can't let you go without stating the obvious. When you talked about it transcending racial lines, I think the nation and the world saw that with Whitney Houston.
Yes.
I can't let you go without, Whitney Houston and her mother took the world to church.
Absolutely.
And for them to see the style of how black folk, if you will, hold their 11th hour, that was new and different for a lot of them.
That was completely new and different. And I think a lot of times, even recently, we have not really put that in perspective. It's one thing to have a service air on TV, and it's one thing to have it air on the church channel, on the Word Network, or something like that. But for a service in a black church to be aired on CNN live around the world, I think that it really gave the world an opportunity to really see a different light. So much of the black church experience is conveyed through movies, it's conveyed through television, and it's often reduced to caricature. It's often reduced to something that we look at and we mock some of the things that we do because we understand them. But for the world at large to see the African American church in the spotlight, I think that it was a wonderful opportunity. I think it was.
Speaking of the spotlight, you are a minister that is from a family with 5 generations of ministers, bishops.
Yes, ma'am.
Before you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not your father's Rock of Ages, though, right? What if you had to change coming from Morehouse and literally understanding the psychology and sociology of ministry in the 21st century? What is it that you've discovered about Mark, per se?
I think really that when we speak to the generations and to the evolution of our thinking when it comes to doing ministry, I think that really it must be summed up in the way that we communicate. I think that a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking that because this is 2012, their job is to make the gospel relevant. I don't agree. I feel that the gospel is already relevant. It's a timeless gospel. It's a timeless message. It's our job simply to communicate that and to highlight that relevance. So really, with the generations and the legacy that I've been blessed to have, I look at it really as a stepping stone to where now I believe that God is raising up people who have the ability to merge the generations. Malachi chapter 6, I believe, speaks about, he says, in the last days I will turn the hearts of the fathers to the sons, the hearts of the sons to the fathers. And what that means is that I'm going to bring the generations together. Now, I always thought that that meant that God is just going to come down and do this himself. He's going to make it happen. But when I read the previous verse variant, it says, and I will send my prophet Elijah, and he will turn the hearts of the sons. So in other words, it's the ministry's job, it's the church's job to facilitate this turning of the generations. And I think that that's really what God is about to do, because one of the ways that I can see that God is moving in a generational basis is because that's where the devil is attacking. And I feel that one way to understand where God is looking at where the devil is fighting. Even if you look at the news and at some of the scandals in the church and in the world that have taken place, you'll see that there's an attack on genuine, pure relationship. We have coaches and we have ministers and ministries that have fallen into terrible scandal because there was a distortion of what relationship was supposed to be about. So really that is as tragic as it is in one sense. It's comforting to realize that this must mean that God is getting ready to do something in our day and time in the area of relationship, in the area of real father and son mentorship, in the area of our communities, even in our families. So that's the silver lining behind the storm cloud, if you will.
And is that the underlying message for another taping? Your appearance here in the city of Mobile is a part of a TBN.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're extremely excited about that. We're extremely excited about that. And it's really an opportunity, I believe, to really showcase the fact that there are people of God, there are young people, there are people from multiple generations, from multiple backgrounds, denominations that are coming together, and if I can be global, just to go hard for God, to be sold out, to not hold back, to express yourself in your worship. If you want to run, you can run, because it's not about style. If you want to sit there quietly and just cry, you can sit there quietly and cry, because it's not that style, but it's that standard within yourself that says, I'm here and I realize that I was created to glorify God, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, you know, Preach Hard in the Pain, again, is a grassroots effort that is gaining legs, so to speak. We'll show everybody again the T-shirts that are available. And if they want to get one, how can they get one and how can they contact you?
They can get it right now, actually, even at this moment, by going and logging on to www.preachhardinthepaint.com. You cannot forget the website, preachhardinthepaint.com. They have the full collection. We have shirts for men, for women, multiple colors, multiple styles. Not only everybody can say, well, preacher, I don't preach hard in the paint, but I sing hard, I worship hard, I praise hard, I pray hard. We have all of those available. I encourage everyone to go out and get one and represent. It's really served as a testimony tool because it's giving people the opportunity to wear and to display what they're passionate about. And so we would love to put them in your city. If you would like to bring the crusade to your area, call us now. The information is on the website. We're excited about connecting with you. You can follow us on Twitter at Team Preach Hard on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube and all of that. So we're excited, Mary.
Absolutely, and this particular interview will be a part of my Facebook following as well.
Okay, wonderful.
And we'll have this
wonderful.
on our web channel as well as our blog, Very Walton.
Wonderful.
At blogspot.com.
Okay.
It's a great opportunity for a lot of people to see, even though you have the headlines, and I know that you're from Atlanta, and I'm sure that was very hard to watch with Bishop Eddie Long and all of that. There are ministers who are out in the world giving the gospel in the way that is pleasing to God, not to accuse anyone of anything.
Right.
But I'm sure that had to be very difficult to watch, just the attack.
Absolutely, because it gives the church a black eye.
Yes.
And I think that it's important that people remember that you must never judge the church based on that church or this church. God's church is everlasting. God's church is here and it's not going down. And the Bible talks about it, says that at the end of the day, everything is going to pass away except for the Word of God.
Absolutely.
And so in spite of what happened here, there, in this ministry, in that ministry, at the end of the day, God is still God. He's still the King, and He's still on the throne.
Okay, you still have time to join Mark Moore tonight as he makes an appearance at New Birth Community Church. It is located just in the Overlook area on Pine Forest Road. It's an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about the Preach Hard in the Paint Alliance and Crusade. It's definitely one that's gaining legs, and I'm here to tell you, you won't be disappointed. We can't thank you enough for joining us this afternoon, and we'll see you next time.